The Washington Post broke a story yesterday afternoon that the president ordered Mick Mulvaney, his acting chief of staff, to freeze $391 million in military aid to Ukraine before he talked to the president. And that doesn't look like good timing to a lot of people. But Fox News has confirmed that apparently the president wanted to make sure that the new president of Ukraine understood that if you're going to get this money, we really want you to end corruption before we give you that dough. And then there's some other stories out there about whether or not other allies and other countries were actually kicking in as much money as they should on the world stage.
Now, does that sound like the president? Every day, really since he was on Phil Donahue in the 1980s. Where are our allies? Why are we paying the full way? He says it in the NATO meetings, to the United Nations meetings. He says it in private meetings. He says it in interviews. I have no problem with the timing. To me, the timing makes total sense. Before I meet with the new president, who's been a comedian, and he comes out of nowhere, I'd like to know that before you get your $400 million, you're going to do a few things, and I want to pressure our allies in the interim, Mr. OMB director and chief of staff, to pony up some money. After all, Russia's more of a threat to Western Europe than they are to the United States.
But it's like saying, Brian or Steve, you're going to lose your job because of a conversation that someone says you promised someone, but we don't know what you said. We don't know what the conversation was. It's ridiculous. They're putting their feet in front of, too far ahead of what we need to just breathe. We need to take a step back. We need to maybe read this transcript, find out what was said, and then decide on impeachment. They're meeting today at 4 o'clock to talk about impeachment.
Right, because if the president said, I'll give you the money, but you got to investigate Joe Biden, that is really off the rails wrong.
Right.
But if it's something else, it would be nice to know what it is. Mark Levin says right now, at this point, the media and Democrats are in panic mode.
You have a massive Democrat scandal here.